Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jelly here with yet another video, and I know it's been a couple weeks since my last video. I did make a couple updates for you guys all to see that I was working on a couple projects, and yes, those are still in the works, a couple of them. However, today's video is going to be all based around the glittering market, as you guys can see on screen. I know that I just did my black market video a couple weeks ago, and I got quite a few comments asking me if it was possible if I could do the glittering market. And yeah, absolutely I can. It came around perfect timing for me to do this. I know it's been about 2 weeks since I last uploaded again. I do apologize for that. Real life does take responsibility right now, and I'm getting ready to have my baby, so we are preparing for that. With all that being said, I do have one quick announcement for all of you guys, and that is I'm officially going to be starting my account review or my battle report review videos. I'm going to be starting it not this Friday, so not 3 days from now, but next Friday. If you guys are interested in actually doing that, go ahead and join the Discord. The link is going to be in the top of the description. That is going to be the only way that you guys are eligible to do these types of videos. It's the only way that I'm going to be able to review your account. Once again, my members do come first. And I have this whiteboard back here. I did try to write on it. I don't have great handwriting. And when my wife comes home, I'm going to have her write it. And it'll be nice for the next video. But shout out to all my members. Appreciate all of you guys. And as I said, members are first come, first serve. So if they want their account reviewed or anything like that, they are definitely going to be the first ones on there. When you join the Discord, there is going to be a thing or a little like channel dedicated to account and battle report reviews. If you guys are interested in doing that, go ahead and post screenshots of your account or your battle reports that you want me to review in that channel right there. And from there, I will just pick random ones that I like, that I see, and we'll do a video based on that. So, and that's enough for right now. Let's kind of get right into this video. And as I said, we're doing it based on glittering market. I know that I did the black market not too long ago, and so we're going to do kind of the exact same type of video today that we did last week, and we're going to have a kind of a list and a tier ranking at the end. As always, I will post the final screenshot, the final tier ranking on the Discord. Without further ado, let's actually get right into it. And we're going to start off right at the top of this list, and we're going to go ahead and look at this tier or the hero choice chest. Now, I do have to say that this hero choice chest, and along with some other stuff, does change as you go through the game, as you progress through the game. So right in the beginning of your game, the first and second, maybe even third time that this glittering market comes out, you'll only have hero choice chest number 1. You'll have hero choice chest number 2 for about 3 weeks after, or 3 events afterwards, and finally you'll get hero choice chest 3. So for the sake of the video, let's just call this as it is. We'll call this hero choice chest 3 because that's what I have and that's where I'm at, but this will be applicable to pretty much everybody across the board. Now, to tie right into my best purchases video, when I went over the best purchases in the game, one of the ones that I was actually referring to quite often was the battle passes to buy the heroes. I think it is a worthwhile buy to buy all the battle pass heroes, and I think you're better off spending money there versus actually spending your glitter coins here, whatever you want to call this. I think it's not honestly the best purchase, and I would honestly probably put this in C tier just because I think that there are better things that you can spend or get with your glittering coins. And so again, for that purpose, we're going to put this right into the C tier. Moving on to the dielectric ceramic, I'm going to kind of just piggyback right off of everything that I've ever talked about on this channel. I'm going to sit here and tell you, do not buy dielectric ceramics. It's not a good value. And honestly, overall, I would argue that dielectric ceramics are one of the worst purchases that you can make in the game due to the fact that you can get so many dielectric ceramics for free. And once you have all of your legendary weapons or your orange weapons, your UR weapons, outside of upgrading, you're not really going to need the dielectric ceramics anymore. So you're just going to be swimming in them eventually, or you're going to hit a wall somewhere. And dielectric ceramics are not going to be that wall. I can promise you that. So for that, I'm literally just going to throw this an F because, again, if you're going to buy anything with your glittering coins, this is going to be one of the worst ones that you can buy in the store. Moving on to, in my opinion, the absolute best value in this entire store is going to be the luxury choice chest for 100 glittering coins. I don't think that there's anything that really comes close to this. The luxury choice chest gives you either 10 hero shards, 40 drone parts, 5,000 upgrade or a level 5 drone component chests, or 15 UR resource chests. Now, obviously, as I've recommended before in previous videos, when you're doing the luxury choice chest, the two that you're going to want to focus on are either the drone parts or the drone component chest. I think that this is great value for those, especially after 2 days, which you can get up to 60 glittering coins for free every day. After 2 days, you can buy one of these luxury choice chests and you can get about 3 or 4 during the entire week long event. It's just arguably the best value in the entire game. This is S tier. There's nothing else that even comes close to it in this store, at least for me. And yes, as I said, you should only ever pick the upgrade or the drone parts or the component chests. Those are the only two that you should ever be looking for from me. I'm actually going to go ahead and buy this now. I'm going to take the drone parts out of this because I'm almost at level 150, which means that I need a lot of drone parts. Moving on to the fourth thing here. This is actually going to be probably the hottest topic here on this video is going to be the helicopter base. Now, to clarify, yes, I do own the helicopter base. This is my first time owning it in this entire game, and I've always wanted it. Even when I first started way back 2.5 years ago, I wanted the helicopter base. And when I first started the server, I wanted the helicopter base. And it was something I told myself I was going to get this time around. Now, that's not saying it's a good purchase because it is 4,000 glittering coins, which means that technically, yes, you can get it for free if you save up for months. Somebody in the comments down below, please let me know what the exact amount of days you're going to need in order to get that dual propeller base for free. But again, if you're going to spend 4,000 glittering coins, that's 40 of these deluxe choice chests or these luxury choice chests. I think it's so much better value to go ahead and buy 40 of those versus the helicopter base. Now, I don't think it's also F tier value because I think that if you're going to spend money on any base at all, this is probably one of the more unique bases because you can only get this through the glittering market, right? You can't get this through any of the events like Christmas. You can't get this through Halloween events. You can't get this through New Year's or Easter. This is the only way to get this base, and it is a very sought after base in terms of the actual uniqueness of it. Everybody likes the helicopter, and for that reason, I'm actually probably going to put this in E tier, so it's right above F tier. I don't think it's the worst, but again, spending $400 on a helicopter base, I don't recommend it for everybody. Moving on to the Tower of Victory, I'm going to lasso this in right with the last video that I did, which was Black Market, talking about the Tower of Victory. The Tower of Victory is one of the better decorations that you can get in the game. And for that reason, this is actually going to be A tier. I think that this is not an S tier purchase because of the fact that I only allow one thing to be S tier. If I allowed two things to be S tier, this would also be S tier. But for 100, it's 100 glittering coins. It's really not bad. I don't even really need to go much into detail about it. The decos, I already have a video dedicated to decos. Go ahead and check that one out if you guys are interested there. I am going to do a future video where I actually rank the decorations, but for now, this is an A tier, and if I could have multiple S tiers, this would also be up there. Now, moving on to one of my more interesting thoughts or my more interesting opinions on this store outside of the helicopter base. This is probably the second most sought after thing in the entire store. The gear blueprints, the MR blueprints, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to put these in C. Hear me out before you guys kill me because I do think that this is one of the more important things that you can buy in the store, but it is really expensive and I definitely think that this is more catered to whales instead of the free to play players. The store has to come around, I think, 7 or 8 times before you can even get 10 of these, which equals obviously a mythic gun. I still think it's phenomenal value. But again, you have to spend $300 just in order to get a mythic gun. So $400 for a base skin and $300 for a mythic gun. Obviously, I just say gun, but mythic weapon, mythic blueprint, mythic whatever you want to call it, mythic gear. Don't know honestly what is more valuable, what's more worth it. I think you probably go mythic instead of the gear, instead of the base, but I don't know because the base increases the stats across the board. Either way, I'm probably gonna put this in C tier because I do feel like this is catered towards the whales, and for my free to play players, obviously saving up for MR blueprints is something that is incredibly valuable and something that is incredibly needed. And I'm not knocking it as I do think it is incredibly valuable, but it is just way too expensive for my own taste. Now, these ones we're actually going to get into are not going to be the first time around in the glittering market, but these will be introduced once drone skill chips come to your server. And if you already have drone skill chips, obviously you've seen this a couple times, or this is your first time seeing it. But regardless, I'm going to kind of just go right into it. I think that this is a really, really, really good value for 30 glittering coins, whatever I think they're called glitter coins, aren't they? Yeah, they're called glitter coins. Okay. So for 30 glitter coins, you can get a SSR skill chip chest. I don't think that's horrible value. I think it is actually probably an A tier value along with decoration. I think that these are going to be probably the only two A tiers that I give out. I think that the purple skill chip SSR skill chip chest for A tier is perfectly reasonable because you can buy 10 of these for the same price that you can buy one UR skill chip choice chest. I'm going to kind of rope in that same exact reasoning that I did in the last video. I'm going to kind of hammer this point home. Yes, being able to choose which one that you want is very, very important. Do not get me wrong. However, if I have 10 chances, which I mean, granted, it's only a 15% chance, and then it's only a 1% chance to get the thing that I want. If you're looking at this from a non-whale perspective, 10 of these equals one of those. I would personally take my chances on 10 of them. And even if you don't get the one that you need, you can upgrade your drone, you can level it up, and you can possibly get other cheap pieces that you need. So again, for a 15% chance, if you buy 10 of these, the odds are that you're going to get at least one, maybe even two of the UR skill chips for the same price that you can choose to get one. So for that reason, that's going to go in the A tier. And I already know that the comments are going to go crazy on me for that again, like they did last time. It's just, that's my opinion on it. And I know that it could be wrong and people could disagree or agree with it. It is what it is. And honestly, I'm okay with being in the minority or the wrong when it comes to this. Now, when it comes to these, I'm not necessarily saying that it's bad, right? Because I still think, and I'm going to say this right off the rip, that the skill chip choice chest UR variation is a B tier item. I don't think it's bad purchasing it for 300 of the glitter coins. I actually think that's pretty good value. And again, that's about 5 days worth getting your free glitter coins. You get 60 a day, so 5 days, and you can get a UR skill chip choice chest. I think that this is pretty good value. Being able to choose what you want and get exactly what you need for a relatively cheap price. This is perfect value. I think this is going to be a B tier. I don't really need to go much into that, but what I will say is that going into this next item, I'm actually going to drop this one down to C tier. So it's going to be A, B, C tier, right? Now, I know that I've kind of hammered this point home that not being able to choose what you want isn't that big of a deal, especially when it can benefit your entire squad as a whole. However, for 50 more glitter coins, which is essentially the same amount of days because you can only get 240 after 4, you get to choose one versus having an 8% chance that you need for one. I actually think that this is one of the few times that I'll recommend getting the choice chest versus the non-choice chest. So for this reason, this is going to go C tier, B tier, and A tier. I think that's a perfect and fair rating, at least in my opinion. Again, guys, let me know down in the comments below if you agree or disagree with that. I know that there's a lot that I like to ramble on about, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this next one because I already have told you guys exactly how I feel about the upgrade ore when buying it. I just don't think that it's good value. And even here, for 1,000 glitter coins, which is $100, you can get 40,000 upgrade ore. However, the $100 bundle that's in the store gives you 25,000 upgrade ore, but also 25,000 medals and some hero XP. Obviously, nobody really cares about those. It is technically better value than the store. But when I also mentioned the store purchase in my video previously, which was under the weekly deal, I mentioned this is actually one of the worst purchases in the game, at least in my opinion, that you could possibly make. So to sit here and try to back this up and say that this is going to be a good purchase, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but I don't think it's the worst purchase in this store either. And so for that reason, it's actually going to go in D tier. Now, I just want to take a quick moment to shout out all of my members. Appreciate all of you guys and also kind of give you guys an update. As you can see here, I am wearing a hoodie that has my logo on it. I'm currently working on some sort of merch. It's going to probably be a while. This is kind of a soft launch for it that I'm just announcing it, what I'm doing, that I'm doing this and that I'm working on this. I'm not exactly sure how everything's going to work. I am still working out the finer details of that. I'm also still working out designs, location, everything like that, and what I want to do. Do I want to have a plain hoodie with just a logo? I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing, but I did want to announce that to you guys. And I also do want your guys' thoughts if you think that merch is a good idea, or that if I do merch, what do you guys want to see on the merch? Do you want in-game jokes? Do you want it to be just a plain hoodie with maybe my logo? What do you guys think on that? What is your thought process? And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for your support. I know it's been a little bit since I last uploaded, but I appreciate everything that you guys do for me. The comments are awesome. I love reading it and engaging. Even though I may be wrong sometimes, I've admitted to it in past videos that I've been wrong, and I've definitely gone through and rechanged it. And I will be updating some of those videos in the future to update things that have been messaged to me or said in the comments below. And I just want to thank you all so much. If you are enjoying the content, make sure that you are subscribing to me and hitting that bell notification for every time I upload. You guys will get a notification. And also go ahead and like that video. It does help me out quite a bit. Thank you guys so much, and back to the video. All right, so the next item on our docket is going to be the gear blueprint, but the UR variation, not the MR variation. Now, this is a huge discrepancy. You should kind of in your mind do your best to separate the two, right? Because the MR variation unlocks the mythic gear, and the UR just allows you to get it up to tier 4 right before Mythic. Now, if you want my personal and honest opinion, I think it is smarter for the average player to focus on getting all of their gear up to tier 3 or up to tier 4 before focusing on getting Mythic gear. Now, with that being said, I do actually think that the gear blueprints are a better purchase, are a better purchasing power. You can get 5 of these for the same price that you can get 1 Mythic. Now, I think that this is going to vary hugely depending on where you're at in the game. Where are you currently? What is your, what are you pushing for? What season are you in? How many gear blueprints do you currently have? All that, all the above. But I actually do think that this is going to be a pretty good purchase in terms of value in the store, and I'm going to put this in B tier. Now, again, I just want to reiterate the reason that this is going higher is just because of the cheaper and the volume that you can get compared to the Mythic. And for all the people that are screaming Mythic, 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 in my opinion, the Mythic is not that much better than the non Mythic because yes, obviously all this increases, but this increases whether you're going to tier 5 or tier 4, all this up here. The only thing that tier 5 really unlocks is the damage boost when countering enemies. So this really only helps you in one variation or one facet of the battle, which is facing somebody that you're already having the advantage on. So for that sake, I'm gonna go actually. I'm gonna double down on that point and stand and say that the normal gear blueprints are a better value, and I'm gonna put these in B tier. I don't think that they're tippy top value, but I do think they are better than the MR. Now, I'm not even gonna take any time to throw this because we already covered the first one, and this is even worse value. So this is just an automatic F tier. I think both dielectric ceramics are F tier value. Same thing with the Valor badges. I did the exact same thing in the black market. I think that after a certain point, buying Valor badges is just silly unless you're trying to give yourself the advantage. But even then, I would say the cutoff for me is middle of season one. I would actually say early season one is the cutoff to buying specifically Valor. So for that reason, this is also just going to be going straight into F tier. Now the speed ups here are interesting because again, a lot of this is very based on where you're at in the game. But for me, the speed ups is very interesting because in season one, speed ups are really nice to have, especially when it comes to training troops and healing troops. They're also really nice to have in preseason when it comes to rushing your HQ or rushing certain buildings or doing your tech. I think that speed ups are actually not bad purchases here. Now, with that being said, I also still just would try to shy you guys away from it as much as can be. And so for that, we're going to go ahead and put this into the E tier. But again, I think that this is going to be hugely impactful about if you need it on the spot. You need it right then and there because if you do need it right then and there, it's actually not the worst thing you can buy with your money. Now, the next thing that we're going to cover is actually going to be the resource chest, the UR variation. And I want to say one thing really quickly. This is arguably the best value in terms of actually buying resources in the entire game outside of the certain level specific packs that you can buy. I think at 16 and 19, those are two of the best fair values in terms of resources, but this is actually going to be the tippy top value outside of those two items. Now, for this one, for example, you can get 16 UR resource chests of your choosing. You get to pick whether it be food, iron, or gold, and for $5. That's 80 coins. And, if you're not spending the $5, you get 60 a day. You can get 14 of these chests instead, or 12 of the chests. I'm so sorry. Misspoke. Now, again, I do not recommend buying resources because it is something that the game gives you an abundance of no matter what you're doing. There's a billion and one ways to gather resources, especially through goldies. So this is not going to be a high tier. But if you're going to buy resources, this is the best store to buy resources in. So this is actually going to be put in D tier and not the E tier. I don't want to spend too much time on the little stuff. So, for example, the enchanted fungus, I don't know the exact amount that this actually costs in the glittering market. So please, somebody let me know in the comments below how much this actually costs. But I've had this since the week one of the server when you're supposed to spend, I think it's like $400 and you get the skin. I spent that in week one and I got the skin. So I have no idea how much this costs. Honestly, I can't remember it from my other servers either because I just never really cared enough to look at it. But for being a base skin, I don't think that it's better than a helicopter. I'm just going to put this in F value. I think that it's not. The 5% damage to monsters is nice, but outside of that, it does absolutely nothing for you. So F tier for that. And kind of right here, going into the UR, Hero Universal Shards, I just don't think that this is good value. I don't. I mean, it's nice. It's shards, so that's great. But for buying 10 of these, you can get a deluxe choice chest, which gives you 40 drone parts, which 40 drone parts are 10 shards. I'm taking the 40 drone parts 10 times out of 10. I don't care. While level 5 drone component chest or 10 shards, I'm taking the level 5 drone component chest. I think that's pretty self explanatory. Shards you can get really easily for free as long as you're doing your truck plunders and participating in events. There's so many ways to get shards. There's not as many ways to get the other stuff. So for that, I'm actually going to go ahead and put this in D. Now, this isn't bad value for skill medals at all. I think 120 glitter coins for 10,000 isn't bad, but it's skill medals. And outside of shards, I think this is easier to get than shards in the game. I think this is the easiest thing to get your hands on in the entire game for abundance of. Granted, you do need a lot as you get into the higher levels, but you can get them so easily for free every day just by doing your daily tasks and just by doing your arms race too. So For that, it's going to go straight into the F tier as well. Now, finally, the last thing on our entire list here is going to be the Silver Assault Trooper. Now, I think this is kind of a unique one because it is a deco, which automatically brings it up a peg, but it's also kind of a useless deco. I mean, sure, it increases your hero attack, but for it being a silver deco, I don't know how worth it is. Obviously, I think it's worth it to buy to actually have in your base, as I always think that it's worth it to have one or level 3 of every deco, silver or gold. I think it's worth it to buy. I don't think it's worth some of the other stuff that I've already mentioned. And so we're going to go ahead and throw this into the D tier. Silver Assault Trooper is fine, but I don't think it's worth spending money on. So I hope everybody here enjoyed the video. If you guys did, go ahead and leave a like on the video, and you can click one of these next videos here to further your knowledge of the game. Jelly out. Peace.